I get this property, 310,000, close comp, 1,049,000.
Oh, come on.
Exactly.
To the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors, where we know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. I am your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and I am telling you, if I can do it, so can you. So let's get started. I want to start off this incredible interview with a quote from a book called Ego is the Enemy. Phenomenal book. It says the material we've been given genetically, emotionally, financially, that's where we begin. We don't control that. We do control what we make of that material and whether we squander it, which I think is the most unbelievable quote for this interview that I have coming out of Miami, Florida. I've got a one-man show that recently has added some more, but for the most part, a one-man show that has done over $400,000 in deals in 2020. This is just the first half. It is my pleasure to introduce Greg Laborde to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. Say hello, Greg.
Brent, how are you? I'm honored and absolutely excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, I'm excited to be on here because, I mean, we've been chatting, just off the air here or off this podcast, we've been chatting about some really exciting things that you've been doing. But tell us about you. Take us back. Take us back to young Greg and give us kind of the backstory.
The backstory, Brent, is in 2017, I had a startup I was involved in. Unfortunately, the company went under. I put years in my heart and soul in it. I had friends and family invest. The company went under. It basically fell by the wayside, and basically I was broke. You know, I basically hit rock bottom, and at that point, I was, to make some extra money, I was driving Uber. And I had the opportunity to start listening to a lot of podcasts. You know, I came across Bigger Pockets. I found you guys, and obviously the rest is history. And I took massive action. I started to send out postcards initially. One of the gold nuggets I got was to go to a local RIA and other networking events and meet people. I found somebody in my market, a very, very big wholesaler. He basically took me under his wing. He told me, introduced me to a title company, gave me his contract, was somebody I could lean on. And then I just started sending out postcards. And then from there, I think the first mailing, we got a deal. It took 9 months to close, and then it just on and on. And in the middle of 2018, I started, listening to you, and then I started cold calling. So, and that's the story.
I love it. And so it's kind of crazy because I remember when we first spoke, you're like, I'm going to be on that podcast. And here we are. It's absolutely incredible. But so what do you do now? So I introduced you. We had this conversation before we started that you've essentially been doing this by yourself. Right? I mean, you do it all. You take the calls, you go on the appointments, you lock up the deals, you sell the deals. Like, why at this point, after 2 years, are you doing it yourself for the most part? I know that you've progressed from there, and we'll get into that. But what made it? What's going through your head? Are you just trying to keep more of the profits? Talk to me about it.
At this point, Brent, I want to have I haven't done a ton of deals, but obviously I've done deals that have been massive, and made some good money with it. But I really want to get to the point where I'm generating a business that's consistently doing deals. In my definition, 1 to 2 every single week.
Right.
So getting out of the 1 a month, kind of a thing.
Sure. And that's a big evolution. I mean, there's a big evolution going from, hey, I do 12 to 25 deals a year to that 25 to 50 jump to that 50 to 100 deals jump. I mean, there are different levels to this for sure, but you obviously have to get into a position where you're leveraging other people's time and efforts and talents by hiring them, and that's kind of what you've been up to, right?
Right. I'm trying to put the systems in place. So basically, in January, I did a very large deal. I reached out to some people in my local market that were having problems getting started. They had, tried other mentoring programs, spent a lot of money. They didn't get any results. I took them under my wing, and then most recently, I hired a full-time cold caller from one of the gentlemen that you had recommended on one of your recent podcasts, Mr. Max Fish.
Yeah, callingreps.com. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, phenomenal. So if you are going to go the route of getting a foreign caller or a Filipino caller, then Max, I mean, he's incredible. He vets all these people. He makes sure that they're qualified. I mean, he does a really, really excellent job. Callingreps.com. I don't know if you have to use the TTP code, but if there's a coupon code, you're going to get something for putting TTP in there. So that's awesome. So Greg, how many callers do you have?
Right now I have one full-time caller and I have two mentees that I'm working with. And the mentees have, one of the mentees has done 2 deals and the other one has done 1. So essentially.
Go ahead.
I basically, help them, instruct them in TTP, take them under my wing. And, I was training with them, and then they're also doing driving for dollars, and then they get a piece of the action, basically.
Love it. And is it, when you're not doing a lot of deals, do you feel frustrated? Are you feeling like, like one deal a month? Yes, I'm doing big deals. Yes, I've made $400,000 in the first 6 months of this year, but there's more in here. There's more that I can do.
Right. I think a lot of it is a function of the market that you're in, because I've heard a lot of I'm a regular listener to all your podcasts, and I think there was a lady named Lauren out of California. I think that's, in my opinion, that's my model going forward, because this is a very, very competitive market that I'm in. It's very, very difficult to get deals. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of and like I like to do, I like to anchor low. And, I'm missing out on a lot. I'm missing out on people. I had somebody else call me. They gave me a better price. But I really want to, I'm aiming at making like, 30,000 and up on every single deal I'm going after. And, it's not easy to do, and it's anchoring low. And obviously when you get the deals, you've got to use a, Tom Crow strategy, which is, create frenzy, competition, get the buyers list going, and that's really what I'm trying to do. But I think the future, in terms of what I'm doing, is I'm going to be testing other markets soon, where you can get, you're going to get more deals, but obviously the amount is not going to be the same. But it's good to get a check every week rather than the way that I've been doing it. So that's really the only thing I'm frustrated about. It's not easy, but at the same time, just continue to sell, continue to to implement, continue to get the calls out, and I think everything is going to fall into place.
So are you doing mail and calling? Like, what marketing channels are you using?
Currently, I'm only doing TTP, and I found so I started TTP in 2018, and one of the things I found out, when you're doing both, unless you got the right systems in place, it's not going to work, because you got incoming and you got outbound calls, and you just can't handle it. So I think the next time when I start doing mail again, I want to have like live answering versus what I was doing before, which was as somebody calling and they would reach a message and then you get back to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's not as good as you got a hot lead, boom, you get on the phone. And you immediately, get that person, you go out and see them.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of people are wondering, well, if you're crushing it so much with the calls, why even do mail? You know what I mean? Like, What's the potential there? Is it something that maybe you want to test out in different markets? Is it something that you want to get back to in yours? Is it just something that you're waiting to get somebody to live answer? Like, why even try it?
You're right. You're right. It's you got to do one thing. You got to do one thing. It's just like, I haven't, the dollar amount, it's good, but the number of deals, that's really where, my sticking point in this business. And you know what? I have to tell you, it's not an easy market that I'm in. It's not an easy, LA, New York, California, these are very, very difficult markets.
Oh, Miami's top 5 toughest for sure.
Right.
Yeah, top 5 toughest all around for sure. I see a lot of people that start in Miami, but start finding those virtual markets, start expanding their markets so that they can have that consistency. Yeah. Awesome. What about an assistant? What about a lead manager? What about acquisition managers? What about all these things that we talk about and that we're, that most of businesses your size start putting together? What's your thoughts there?
I definitely, I agree with you, Brent. I have a VA in place, so that's a staple. You got to have a VA. You got to, when you make offers, you got to, what I like to do is follow up with the written, proof of funds. You email it out, you mail it out to them. So the VA is very, very valuable. She also does all the marketing.
Yeah.
So, I don't have a lead manager, somebody I'm looking at potentially bringing in in the next quarter or so.
Awesome. And so do you just do this from home?
No, I'm actually, I got an office, Miami Gardens, Florida. It's an area, it's a lot of rehab activity, do some driving for dollars here. And I'm looking to expand the office and bring callers in. So we just start, we got 1 caller now, we got the 2 reps, and we're looking to basically expand operations, obviously as the deals come in.
Awesome. Well, of the 400,000, you did a really massive deal. When we talk about it in the TTP family, we talk about a massive deal being something over netting for yourself over $50,000, the 50K club. You went that and you said, okay, guys, why don't you just calm down? Let me show you what I can do here. So let's talk about this deal because you had mentioned it that early in January you closed a big deal. Let's talk about it.
Okay, it was an absentee landlord. It was a vacant property. I pulled the vacant property list. I think it was $250. Got the list, skip traced it. This was in July. I called this gentleman, got him on the phone. This is September 2019. Very, very hard person to reach. He, mentioned to me that the person was living out of state. He had a property that he hadn't been to literally in 11 years, and he just didn't know what to do with it. And he asked me to go see it. And what was weird about it, he was telling me to go check out the property. And the door was open. I mean, what do you mean the door is open? He hasn't been there in 11 years. So I show up at the property and it's like all these plastic containers from the city. And it was all these code violations. And I noticed that the city had locked up the door.
Mm-hmm.
So there was, so I called the gentleman back, and literally it took me 3 months to get him back on the phone again. So
what was going through your head? What was going through your head, Greg, when you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be an amazing deal. He's not answering his phone.
No, I mean, I had no idea. I had no idea what this was. I thought it had potential. The guy answered the phone. Finally, what happened was the Zillow was way off. I was using Zillow. I didn't really comp the property, and I gave the guy an offer. It was $280,000, and it was too low. We settled on $310, and all right. So we go back and forth. A couple of weeks later, the guy agreed to the $310, and so I sent a mobile notary to pick up the contract. The other gold nugget is. I like to file what's called an affidavit of interest. You get the ID, and obviously you get a piece of paper that says, look, you will not negotiate. This is, we're under contract. And that's it. You can't talk to anybody. And obviously, if you do, then obviously you're in breach, and there could be a legal situation. Yeah. So I would like to get that in. Once they sign, everybody's willing to basically do that. So I got the affidavit back.
Where did you get that? Where'd you get that idea from? Is that something that you got from an attorney? Is that something that you got from a title company? Like, where'd you hear about doing that? Because I think that's a concern that a lot of people have, is that, oh yeah, I put the property under contract, but now they're calling and trying to cancel it. Like, what do I do? I run across that all the time from students.
I'm not concerned about people canceling, because I've had situations where people, I don't want to do it anymore. I just rip up the contract and say that's it's just a deal. What I'm concerned about is, and I've had this problem literally. You put a deal on a contract and it's like, you're showing a property, and then the person tells you, oh, by the way, so-and-so was knocking on my door. I can do better. Forget about this guy, that kind of thing, so like I said, this business, this market I'm in, very competitive. And unfortunately, there's a lot of unethical people. And so you have to protect yourself,
Yeah.
So I get this contract back, and I didn't even know what I had. I comped the property, and I noticed that literally a week before, a house across the street had just closed. Same property, same square footage, same lot size, closed comp. Get this. I get this property, $310,000, closed comp, $1,049,000.
Oh, come on.
Exactly. So I knew I had something. I put it out. I put it out at 500, and somebody took it at 510.
And wait a second. So did you put it out did you assign that, or this was?
You cannot assign deals like that. What you have to do is you have to buy the property, okay,
Got it.
and then resell it to somebody.
What if people don't have money? How do they buy it?
So at my title company, there is a gentleman that has a transactional funding service.
Yeah.
So, I just go to him whenever I need money. I just hey Nick, I need 300,000. I need 500, and it just 2-minute phone call, boom, and the money's there.
What does he charge you for it?
He charges very, very reasonable. Well, actually, this was another hard money lender that I used to I've done 2 flips also. I haven't done flips, but I have a partner that does flips.
Sure.
So, to obviously placate them, they were charging 1%.
Got it.
And
okay.
Nick was going to do it for $1,000, and they charged $3,100.
$3,100 plus you got title and escrow.
Right.
Both sides, right? When you buy and sell, or did you have the buyer pay your closing costs on the purchase?
It was a ton of fees. It was like $25,000 in fees, and there was also a friend of mine actually bought the buyer. So I gave him $15,000.
So, out of the let's see. You put it under contract at $310. You sold it for $510. There's $200,000, and then there was about $25,000 worth of cost in there.
$5,000, baby. $175,000.
Hold on a second. I'm going with the extra long ring on that, because holy cow, $175,000. And wait a second. This was a cold call?
This is a cold call.
One call, 175. I am telling you, I'm screaming it from the rooftops, guys. If you're proactive, you run into deals of a lifetime once a week, once a month, once every quarter. I mean, what an unbelievable deal that is. I mean, I knew it took some time. I know that there was some lead follow-up. I know that the guy ghosted and couldn't make decisions, but you just did $175,000 net to you dollar deal. What does that feel like when that hits your account?
It's definitely life changing. You realize this could be a substantial business. This is something that could, obviously, if you could just repeat that and keep going, maybe, you're not going to repeat it, but if you can consistently do 20s, 30s, 40s, it's a nice business.
It's an incredible business, and a business that I'm telling you, you're going to run across these deals once a year, once every couple of years, whatever it is, as you stay consistent, as you're making calls. We've always done it. We've always had one massive deal every single year. And it's like, oh my gosh, if we could only do that every week. But, you know, I mean, it's an incredible business. Your life can literally change that quickly if you're being proactive, if you're taking it seriously. I mean, you've been taking this business seriously for what, 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that?
2 years. Like I said, I started TTP full time, 2019. You know, I stopped the sending out the postcards. You know, and you know, like I said, we're getting deals. You know, we got 10 in 2019. You know, 6 so far this year closed, but just now we got the callers in, and we're trying to get the regular flow going.
I love it. I love it. So talk to somebody that's just starting out. What advice would you give somebody that's just, you know, they're ready, they're excited, they get inspired by your story? Like, what advice would you give them if they've never done a deal before?
Reach out to your start networking. Okay, go to your local RIA, go to networking events, find a mentor in your market. And the second and most valuable piece of advice, I probably could have shortened my learning curve, is if I would have joined earlier.
Sure.
And then the third, obviously, listen regularly to podcasts.
I love it. When do you listen? Are you in the car? Is it in your house? Is it like
every single day driving down to work?
Yep. I'm telling you, I've not turned on, unless my kids are in the car, and my wife, because it drives her nuts, listen to podcasts all the time. I don't listen to anything else. I listen to podcasts. I listen to Audible all the time. I haven't turned on my radio to music by myself in my truck in 6 years. You know what I mean? Maybe 7. It's just, you can learn so much in your mobile university, essentially. You know what I mean?
YouTube University, absolutely.
Well, in the podcast and just driving around and doing all this stuff, it's just, there's so much out right now that it's tough to get focused on. So one, I definitely encourage, you know, in 2016, in 2015, I did pretty well. In 2000, I did about $250,000 in wholesale. And then I heard this podcast that we're on now. I joined the tribe because I wanted to be around people that were doing much more business than me. And all of a sudden, boom, I tripled my income, $742,000 in 2016. And then it's just million. I mean, it's absolutely incredible, but it's because of what you were saying, the focus. There's so many other things. You can take the same message and it gets just spun up and everything. But the fact remains, the number one factor when it comes to lead generation, to finding opportunities, to sourcing real estate deals is consistent quality conversations with distressed property owners. That's it. That's it. As long as you're doing that, you win. You literally cannot lose if you're having quality conversations with distressed property owners every single day and keep it going and going and going. You're going to build a huge, robust, profitable business, just like my man Greg here, because I'm telling you, I mean, you're keeping almost all that money.
Yeah, but obviously like to make more, and that's the thing about me. I'm a driven individual, and I just want to try to get the systems in place and just replicate this and just keep going and just have more conversations.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Exploded, since I got the caller and got the 2 guys on board.
That's awesome. So what is your main goal? I mean, are you, some people that are incredible wholesalers, they want to build up this really big real estate portfolio with their profits. Some people just want to create this business that pays for their lifestyle and pays for them to invest in other things, whether that be gold or the stock market or whatever else. Like, what is your master plan for what you want to do? Because you're going to have that $1 million business. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. You're going to be keeping a lot of that money. What are you going to do with it?
What my main goal is to build a massive rental portfolio. That's what I'm looking to do. Okay, but what I'm doing now is, like you said, focus. I'm finding discounted properties. That's what I do. All the other stuff, I got to get a property manager. I have a partner that does flips. So if I get a deal in the contract, the exit is a flip. I give it to him. If I want to wholesale, I'm putting a nice lender in place this week. I'm going to have the ability to take down properties, and that's it. And what I want to do is, I love selling. I love getting on the phone. So, yeah. But you want to get recurring revenue, and you want to get that mailbox money going in. Absolutely. So. And at the same time, you just want to have your systems in place. So that's really the reason why I haven't bought any, and I haven't kept any deals, because I've had some unbelievable deals that, in hindsight, when I've looked at it, I should have kept these deals. But
you're staying focused. You're building this business first. I'm telling you, I think you're doing the right decision. I hear this all the time. Well, you got to cherry pick the best deals that you find. Not initially. You need to build in, you need to get the income in, you need to stack these wins, you need to start building up this company. This company is going to make you so much more income than that property ever will. I'm sorry, but this business will make so much more than that. And being able to fund that early on with the revenue that you get from these deals is absolutely critical. So, I mean, to each their own, certainly, but I think in the beginning, sell as many as you can, get as much income as you can, put your systems in, follow somebody that knows what the hell they're doing, be around people that are doing more than you, and you are going to absolutely just have a cash cow on your. I mean, it's a money machine. It's an ATM machine. It truly is. Wholesaling is hitting the lottery. And it's absolutely incredible. So, I mean, obviously, 175,000. I mean, absolutely incredible. So, Greg, how do people get a hold of you? How do people reach out if they want to joint venture with you, or just say great job, or just talk to you?
I'm going to give my cell phone out. I never pick up the phone. You can text me. My cell phone is 917-309-3566. Alternatively, you can hit me up on Instagram at GHL Acquisitions. That's GH as in Henry, L Acquisitions. And my email is greg@ghlacquisitions.com.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Well, Greg, thank you so much for coming on here, sharing your story, getting everybody inspired that you can do big, massive, huge deals, that this is a real business, that just being proactive, just picking up the phone can absolutely change your life. Being there, talking to people. I mean, I love it. I'm really, really happy that you came on here. What an interview. What a great time. I mean, thank you.
Brian, I appreciate you, and thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. And anybody out there that's looking to join the most proactive group in real estate investing, it is the TTP family. Go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP. That's wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Scroll down, check out what it's all about. If it feels good in your gut, sign up for a call. It'll either be with me or my right-hand guy. I look forward to working with you personally. But yeah, awesome. Again, callingreps.com. That is Max Fish's TTP family members company that has phenomenal callers for you. So definitely check that out. It's what Greg uses himself, and I use. We both use them actually. So awesome. Well, thank you, Greg. Again, thank you everybody out there for listening. If you want to watch this, go to Brent Daniels' YouTube channel so that you can put a face with a voice. Until next time, as always, I encourage you to talk to people. See ya.